Hey everyone, it's John from In My Father's Kitchen. We're down here at our facility on Holly Ave, and I was asked by Contact 211 to do a little food demonstration and talk about what we do and talk about our collaborative work between our coalition and using the 211 contact services in the work that we do and explaining that to all of you. So today what I'm going to make for everyone is a little bit of a lasagna, a homemade lasagna. So what I have here, I'm going to give you the ingredients. We have oven-ready lasagna sheets. I like these Barilla ones that you could get them from any local grocery store. And I like them because they look like this. They're pre-cooked kind of shells that you're going to use and smother with sauce and cheese and meatballs and ricotta. And it's going to turn into a wonderful lasagna half-sheet tray. We're going to show you how to make right here. So what I have is the lasagna sheets. We have some fresh mozzarella right here. I have some parsley, and there's one egg in there. I have some meatballs that have been sliced up, and then I have some Pecorino Romano cheese, and then I have a tub of ricotta cheese, and I'm using a Wegmans brand ricotta, so you can get ricotta cheese as well. And this is a 32-ounce container, and I have that right here in front of me in a bowl. So what we're going to do first, and then I have my spices also. I have some crushed red pepper, some black pepper, some dry oregano there as well. And that's going to be mixed into the ricotta mixture that's going to go through the lasagna and also cover the top of it. So the sauce that we're using today, and as you can see here, I have some tomato sauce, is going to be our In My Father's Kitchen Taste and See pasta sauce, where 100% of the proceeds from the sales of our sauce assist us in the work that we're doing in Central New York, feeding those and assisting those who feel invisible, the chronically homeless of Central New York. These are individuals that are living in places not meant for human habitation, which means that they would be living in an abandoned house, under a bridge, in a campsite, in a tent in the woods somewhere. So these proceeds come right back to our organization to help us 100% fund our projects to do what we're doing. And then we also have, I have here a coffee as well that we sell, New Horizons whole bean coffee. It's $10 for a bag. And then we also have a dark amber maple syrup that we sell as well to generate revenue. But today we're going to be using the In My Father's Kitchen Taste and See pasta sauce. You can find it on our website at inmyfatherskitchen.org. Go to the Taste and See tab. It'll show you all the locations that you could pick up the sauce. For example, all Wegmans through Central New York, Nature Time, 20 East, Metro Homestyle, and there's a bunch of other stores listed there as well that you could pick up the sauce and eat with a purpose. Like we're going to be eating with a purpose today. So this lasagna that I'm making today will be a dish that we'll use to go out to the streets of Central New York. So what we do in My Father's Kitchen is we serve the chronically homeless. So we go out twice a week and do street outreach with our friends, we call them, that are living outside. And we bring up these ratcheted up lunches to make first contact with someone, to show them that they're not invisible, but also to kind of give them quality and value and dignity through food. Also the supplies that we hand out clothing, socks, jeans, t-shirts, underwear, any kind of toiletries, you name it, we give it out, and it's all new stuff. And it's about bringing value and dignity to someone when they feel like they're suffering. And the lasagna that I'm making today will be a dish that will go out to serve someone that's living in a campsite somewhere under a bridge or in the woods. And it's showing them dignity through that lunch. And I call it first contact. It opens up a door for conversation. Just like yesterday, we met someone new for the very first time. And we brought out a lunch to them. And I made these awesome cheeseburgers, these Wagyu beef cheeseburgers. And the Wagyu beef comes from Cazenovia, a local farm here where they donate some ground beef to us. And we made these wonderful cheeseburgers that we brought out. And I met a guy yesterday, and I handed him this wonderful cheeseburger, and it started a conversation where he starts telling us his story behind his cardboard sign. Also behind me here, you see our Higher Ground program. We have a day labor program that we use to assist individuals who are panhandlers to get them onto the van, and it's an alternative to panhandling. It's a hand up and not a hand out. And you work on our van for 5 hours, and there's a care manager on that van as well as our van driver, and they go out and they do beautification projects around Onondaga County, whether it's state off-ramps, on-ramps, cleaning up city parks or county sites. Whatever it takes. We're using folks that are usually holding cardboard signs and are homeless and getting them on this work van and engaging them for 5 hours. With our outreach, I might have a 10-minute experience with someone and building this relationship. On our work program van, we have you for 5 hours, and we're really doing a deep dive and engagement and finding out your story and how we can really help you. Well, 211 is a vehicle that we use at Contact in regards to if you're in the community and you see someone that you believe is homeless and needs assistance, you would call 211, tell them where you've seen someone, give their description, what you're experiencing through your eyes and seeing, and then they relay out a message via an email to myself at My Father's Kitchen or Rescue Mission Street Outreach Team, and we go out and we investigate that situation that you might see in the community and validate whether that person is homeless or not. And if it's someone who's a panhandler and they might not be homeless, we talk about the van and we can get them onto that work van and figure out why they're panhandling and maybe hopefully get them connected to employment or the services they need to get out of their situations. So within My Father's Kitchen, the great thing that we do is the collaborative work within our coalition. There's over 50 providers and we all work together, and 211 is a big part of that. Contact 211 is a huge part of what we do in regards to we're all using that database for people in the community, or even those that are in distress could call 211 to figure out where their closest pantry is or how to get to a mental health provider or where that address might be. They guide people and they lead people through to resources. And it's been a great advantage for us to be able to work with 211, as well as our other coalition partners, and whether they're the housing providers, addiction specialists, mental health providers. It's all coming together, the community coming together for the greater good. And for me, being a chef who gave up a restaurant to do this work, I still use food as this vehicle to build hope and change lives. So let's make a lasagna. I'm going to show you how to make this lasagna. So what we have, we're going to start with first is our ricotta. So I have the 32 ounces of ricotta. What I'm going to do is first you have to have clean hands, which I already washed my hands, are nice and clean. We're going to crack 1 egg into the ricotta. So we're going to do 1 egg into the ricotta cheese, like that. And then I have some chopped parsley. That was one of my ingredients. And right here I have one bunch of curly parsley that I chopped finely. And I'm going to probably add about half of that bunch, a lot of parsley, I like parsley, to the ricotta cheese. So you got that. And then my red pepper, which I have about 1/8 of a teaspoon, my black pepper, which I have about a teaspoon, and my oregano, which I have a teaspoon, is going to go right inside. So we got that right in there. And then pecorino romano. I just picked some up here locally at Samir's on East Genesee Street, giving them a shout out. Pecorino romano, we're going to put probably about a cup in there. So, and this is very salty, so you did see that I didn't add any salt. So we're going to add about a cup, maybe a cup and a half to that. And then we're going to mix this mixture up. So this is our ricotta mixture. And I have my spatula here, and we're just going to mix it up and get it all blended together with that egg. And we're going to make sure that egg is incorporated all through that. Because what's going to happen at the very end of this, I'm going to put some ricotta in between the layers. But on the very top, we're going to have one big layer of ricotta cheese. And that egg that's inside of here will make that top layer, when you're baking it in an oven, which at 350 degrees, it'll make it nice and golden brown on the top when you take it out. I like a nice brown, light brown, golden brown layer on the top. Not too crusty, but enough where you could get some color in that. And that egg's gonna help us do that. And as I'm mixing this, our mixture is actually turning, instead of pure white, it's turning a little bit of like an antique white color. And that's because of the egg. So that's all mixed up. All right, next step is, and you can use the same tool to do every part. So I don't need to really clean this up because I'm gonna go right into my sauce. And what I have here, this is 1 jar right here of my Taste and See pasta sauce. So we're gonna put a layer of sauce in the bottom of this half sheet pan. So we're just gonna coat the bottom of the pan with some of our Taste and See pasta sauce. And you want to make sure that you have a good amount of sauce so that when those sheets go in there, they get to soak up a lot of the sauce there, which is going to help them cook when they're inside the oven at 350 degrees. So I have my first layer of sauce down here, just like so, nothing hard. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to sprinkle some grated cheese, pecorino romano all through the bottom, and then I'm going to start layering my lasagna sheets. So here is 2 boxes that I've already pre-opened. Now all you have to do is kind of snip the corner there like that, just so that it'll fit nice and snugly into the corner, because if you have a pointy corner going into a round pan, you're going to have space there. So I like to clip that corner piece off so it fits nice in there. And I'm going to put the second layer next to it, overlapping it, so they're going to go kind of like this over the top of each other. And then on the third sheet, I clip the other end and I put that third sheet down. And we're going to do the same thing. So it's going to be 6 sheets per each layer. So right now there's my 5th, and this is my 6th sheet right here going down. So right now I have 6 sheets of lasagna down on the bottom of that tray on top of some sauce. So now I have that layer down, adding more sauce. Again, the sauce is the key here. And I have a bunch of jars of sauce around me because we're going to need more than 1 jar of sauce to do this. It's probably 2 to 3 jars of sauce. So I'm covering that next layer of pasta sheets with the sauce, just like this. I wish I had an overhead camera. This is a one-man crew today, and it's me doing it by myself. But so right now I covered those lasagna sheets up. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to add mozzarella cheese. So I'm just going to grab a handful of cheese and sprinkle some cheese on the bottom here on top of that sauce. And then I'm going to add meatballs. So I got meatballs here, and you can make your own or buy store-bought, whatever you want to do. And I sliced them up nice and thin. And we're going to put a layer of meat down here on top of that cheese and sauce. All right, so we got a nice layer, so it's going to be a nice meaty lasagna. All right, so I got the meatballs down, and I got the mozzarella down. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more grated cheese, and then ricotta. Just a couple dabs here and there. I'm going to dab some ricotta in there, little dabs like this, through that layer, just like that. Get them in the corner, just so that there's like cheese in every layer. But there's going to be a real great big layer of ricotta over the top. So I'm just putting little dabs of ricotta cheese in that layer. So now we're going to our second tier. Again, snip the corner and lay it down. So I'm going to go a little faster here. And we're going to do another layer, like so. And here's the secret. So before I put the next layer of sauce on, I kind of push it down a little bit. Make sure it's all even, and then we're going to add another layer of sauce on top of that. And this goes on and on and on. So we're probably going to get about 4 or 5 layers here. So basically, this is just about 1 jar of sauce is going to do about 2 layers. So I got all that in there, like so. Spreading it around. All right, so I hope you were paying attention. Here comes the test. What's next? That's right, mozzarella cheese. So we're gonna put mozzarella cheese. Okay, and then what is after that? You're right, the meatballs. So meatballs on this layer as well. So we're doing a nice, and you can use sausage. You know, when I make my meatballs, I use a sausage veal ground beef blend. But if you make your own meatballs, make them the way you like to make them, and then add your meatballs here. And we're going to do the second layer. There we go. And then what was the next thing? That's right, Pecorino Romano. I love it. Bam. Layer 2 done. We're going to layer 3. All right, so cut that off. Next. So we're going to do our next six pieces of lasagna sheet here. And this is not hard. People get freaked out about cooking, and I say cooking can be fun. I'm showing you a recipe here. You could tweak it whatever way you want to. All right, so now I'm going to open another jar of sauce. Listen to this. Oh yeah, it's hermetically sealed. So we're going to add some sauce here. Now I didn't put any ricotta on that second layer because I'm going to put a little bit extra on this layer. All right, so we're spreading the sauce around like so, getting it all covered. A little bit more. There we go. All right. Mozzarella. Again. This is repeat. Again, repeat. Again, repeat. That's all we're doing over and over again here. We're just making layers. Grated cheese. Now I'm going to put more ricotta on this layer than I did on the first layer because I didn't put any on the second layer. Okay. Ricotta cheese is going down. And just like I'm making layers as I'm thinking about this, as I'm making these layers, it kind of reminds me of our coalition. There's like layers within our coalition, just like lasagna has layers as you're building it. Our coalition has layers. There's a housing department layer. There's the street outreach component layer. There's a layer who deals with people that are having addictions. There's a layer that works with people suffering with mental health challenges. There's a layer that helps people get into the shelters. There's a layer that helps people with people who might be getting evicted. There's attorneys that work pro bono to help people from getting evicted if they're being illegally evicted. So I'm pushing down here again, remember, making it straight. So layers in lasagna, layers within our coalition, and then 211 is the layer as well that helps bring it all together. So we're going to add some more sauce on the top of this. And again, I'm showing you my recipe. I always say cooking is fun, can be fun. You could tweak it. If you don't want to put meat in it, don't put meat in it. And if you don't want to use red sauce, maybe you can use a white sauce and make like a white sauce lasagna as well, like an Alfredo or something like that. All right, so there's that. Lasagna sheet getting built up. Mozzarella next. Our last layer of meatballs. I'm going to finish this meatball layer off here. So we have 3 layers of meatballs right there. Some grated cheese. Some more mozzarella here. And again, we're just building on top of building on top of building, which is great. And you know, one of the things that I've learned also with talking about layers, that when you're working with folks in chronic homelessness, you realize that there's layers of trauma in people's lives. No one woke up one day and said, hey, I think I want to be schizophrenic, or I think I'm going to be a drug addict today and start using heroin. It doesn't happen like that. It happens over time based on trauma. And a lot of it starts at childhood and works its way up to adulthood. If you don't deal with your childhood trauma, you're going to have consequences in your adult life. And sometimes people are just victims of circumstances. In the work that I do, 95% of our folks that we engage that are chronically homeless have either an addiction going on or mental health challenges. I mean, usually it's both of those things happening simultaneously. So we're working with the hardcore of the hardcore. These are folks who won't even go to the shelter. And it's usually because they have severe addiction. Like today we met someone and he has a severe heroin addiction, and we helped him get the paperwork done and talk to Dr. Lehman, who does house calls for the homeless with us, and he prescribed some Suboxone for him to get off of heroin, and getting him connected to upstate rehabilitation with Dr. Johnson and Dr. Aslam. Again, coalition, layers coming together. 211 is part of that coalition, and just like we're making this lasagna with layers. So we're almost done here. So, sauce again. All right, so far we're down to, that was 2 jars of sauce that I used so far in this recipe. Let's jar away. And we're gonna spread this last layer of sauce over the top. And here's the cool thing that's going to happen next, is that we're just going to do a nice cheesy layer right here. So this layer right here is just going to be cheesy because I already did my meat. So we're going to put all of our mozzarella on this last layer here, like so. Okay. And then we're going to add some pecorino romano, like so. And now this layer here is going to be our last layer, just like so, on top. We're going to finish it off here, and the next part's the fun part. If you like spreading ricotta cheese, it's my favorite thing. I like doing it. It's kind of relaxing for me, so I'm going to push it all down. Okay, and now all of this ricotta cheese we're going to put on the top here. So right now I got about 1/4 inch space between this last layer and the top of the pan, and we're going to fill it with this ricotta cheese, just like this. Okay, so see that big mound of ricotta cheese here? Now you're going to spread it out like this. Right, all the way to the ends. Just like so. And then you just work it. I like it. It's like, to me, it's about now the end. It's like how it's going to be finished. Like you're finishing it like a carpenter. There's a finished carpenter. There's a rough carpenter. Like a rough carpenter would do the building of the the main structure of the house, and then the finished carpenter comes in and does all the fine work. And this is kind of like that. It's like finished carpentry. You're going in there and you want it to look nice. Remember, I have that egg in there too, so this is going to brown up nice in the oven, right? So we're just spreading it out, and I see a little bit of a mound in the middle there, so I'm pulling and spreading at the same time, just like so. And there you have it. There we go, done. 1 tray of lasagna, a meat and cheese lasagna. Layers upon layers upon layers of goodness, just like in our Housing and Homeless Coalition, layers and layers and layers of goodness to help people who are in suffering positions. And again, like Contact 211 is a huge part of what we do. So if you're in our community and you see someone that you think is homeless, call 211. It's easy, 211. Hey, I see a person sleeping under a bridge. Give the location of that bridge, a description of the person, maybe leave your phone number in case an outreach provider wants to get back to you to ask you more specific questions of what time you might have seen them and things of that nature. But 211, Contact 211 is a big part of what we do in our coalition. I want to say thank you to them for asking me to be able to show you a recipe about making layers of lasagna, just like there's layers within our coalition. We have to work together. It's all about collaboration. Just like these ingredients have to collaborate together to make something taste wonderful, right? The cheese and the meat and all the spices and the parsley all coming together to fill someone's belly to make someone feel good. And within my Father's kitchen, it's all about value and dignity through food first, then through engagement, about building relationships where they trust us enough to tell us the story behind the cardboard sign. So don't forget, if you're in the community and you want to get some product, buy some Taste and See pasta sauce. Follow us on Facebook at In My Father's Kitchen, or Twitter or Instagram, or go to our website and check us out, inmyfatherskitchen.org. Find out where the sauce, coffee, and the syrup are located, and you can eat with a purpose. And if you do follow us and you make something with our sauce or something, shoot a picture, tag us in it, and put it up on Facebook and let us know that you're following us and you're believing in our mission. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Thanks for being patient with me, being the one-man show, making this video and showing you how to make 5-layer lasagna, just like we do layering of work in our coalition. So God bless you guys. This is John from In My Father's Kitchen. Have an awesome day.